Quiet on set, please. All right, and mark it nice and loud.
Usually the easiest way for me to describe it is it's pretty much Japanese fencing. So there's a lot of screaming and yelling, but I think that's part of the essence of it, is where there's lots of spirit involved. It's not just about the mechanics or about winning or losing. There's lots of thought involved in it. So it's not just about going all out and being aggressive. You have to be patient at times. There's a little bit more mental aspect, not just a physical aspect of Kendo.
It's hard to describe it without being in it, because I think there's a lot of different aspects to Kendo. If you say martial art, everybody thinks combat and hand-to-hand, because karate and taekwondo are very popular right now. It's very competitive, and that it's not all physical. There's a lot of other aspects to it. I think there are a lot of great points of Kendo, and there's a lot of things to gain from Kendo that maybe you won't see at the first glance. When I first joined Kendo, everyone was much bigger than me. But as I got older and as I began to enjoy Kendo more, I realized it was more about community and about growth and about perseverance and about learning about yourself as a person and how that changes the way you interact with other people. And that goes for your Kendo as well. If you learn about your own Kendo, you can change it when you play different people.
To give a brief introduction of Kendo, it first evolved with training of the samurais back in the day in Japan. It was a way of training one's sword skill and also one's inner emotions. Kendo is many things, swords, armor, and inner training.
Kendo is very much about trust. Nowadays, we don't walk around with swords. So the immediate practical benefit of practicing Japanese fencing isn't apparent. So when you first start Kendo, it's very difficult physically. And you won't see the benefit, you won't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. So you have to trust. That's the first very big thing. Once you get to a certain point, you do begin to understand some of the things. Even if you can't speak about it, you start to understand them. And when that happens, then you start to feel that you start to feel what the value of Kendo can be. So it takes some time, it takes some pain, but once you start to get into it, I think that you realize how much deeper it can be. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, what ethnicity you happen to be, or even what age you are. The only way to get better at Kendo is to do it with somebody else. And the only way you're going to be able to practice with somebody else is if they trust you and allow you to practice. That's the only way you can get better. And if you can come to understand that, you understand that it applies to your whole life, not just in the dojo.
One thing Kendo has taught me is that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Your body might say no, but as long as your heart is saying yes, then you can do it.
Just have fun. Just have fun. You know, you can only do what you can do. Make sure you do it 100% and enjoy yourself. I think the essence of Kendo is understanding your opponent and Kendo's always provided me a place to focus. It gives me a chance to clear my mind and be able to reset myself. It's very important for people in this day and age to be able to just empty out their mind and focus on one thing. And I think Kendo is a good martial art to provide that environment.
Kendo, at its core, is teaching people how to give to each other. Obviously, for me, to be as involved as I had been, it means much more than just doing some kind of sport.
The most important thing to me that Kendo has to offer is connecting with people.
Kendo is a funny thing that I feel that there's a connection between everything and things happen for a reason.
It's all about connection, communication.
There's always room for improvement. Yeah, I think that's what I like about Kendo.
I like where you're so on the edge whenever you see the sword just coming here, or even get hit. You get hit. It's exciting whenever I see that.
Hit opponent is teaching his weak point. Opponent hit is your opponent teach me my weak point. So both of us say thank you.
You need to understand your opponent. The opponent needs to understand yourself. So I think the essence of Kendo is understanding your opponent and understanding also yourself.
Canada's Kendo, in many ways, is still very traditional, whereas on the world stage, much of the Kendo that is being used is a little more sport-oriented, so we haven't been competing as well. One of the challenges we have is bringing this new generation of Team Canada into the world stage where they can compete well, but not necessarily lose the essence of Canadian Kendo.
In 2015, there's going to be another World Tournament in Tokyo, and that is going to be my 6th time as a representative of Canada. This is my 6th time at the World Tournament, and the more and more I experience the World Tournament, I see like each country have its own Kendo, and Canada has a very distinctive Kendo also.
Standard Canada Kendo, which is beautiful Kendo. Its form is beautiful, but its spirit is very strong. Canadian Kendo is, I think, very orthodox and very sharp, obviously. I'm Alex Bennett of Kyoshi 7th Dan in Kendo, and I teach at Kansai University. I'm the coach for the New Zealand national team and also edit the Kendo World magazine. And not only that, Canadians are generally very nice people.
I'm Stuart Gibson. I am 5th Dan. There's a guy is on the national team from Korea, I believe, called Lee, Kyle, and he came to Shinjuku. So I had a chance to practice with him.
And I met Stuart Gibson, and I went to practice with him. No matter who you face, there's always an opportunity to strike.
He struck me as very fluid, fast, dynamic, very kind of soft, the kind of style that you would expect to be successful in Shiai. So not a big surprise that he turned up with a Canadian flag on his armor, right?
The one thing I really like about Kendo in Canada was everybody was enjoying it, and having fun, and talk about it, and and you really care for each other, and that's the thing I loved about Canadian Kendo.
My name's Andy Fisher. I'm from Great Britain. I know quite a few of the previous members as well, the current ones from Team Canada. Shigemitsu, Kamata, Misato, Hamanaka, and who else? Lots of Tunan as well. Met him a few times. Akiko Fukushima as well. And it was great to practice with some of the members of the then team, and obviously now the current team as well. So yeah, and I practiced with most of them. Had a great time. High level of Kendo, of course. I practiced with Vancouver Kendo Club, University of British Columbia, and the Stevenson Dojo as well. Really great experience. Everyone was lovely, really looked after me. It was great to obviously see friends that I'd met at previous World Championships as well, from Team Canada. People like Takashi Yamada, his sister Hanaka as well.
My name's Takashi Yamada, and I am Kendo Rokudan from Vancouver. I'm from the Vancouver Kendo Club, and the Vancouver Kendo Club celebrated their 50th anniversary tournament just past May. And we got together and brought out all the memories and brought out the photos as well from back then. I immigrated to Vancouver with my family when I was around 5, and my mother did Kendo in Japan, so she quickly found a dojo and just threw me in there. And that's how I got started. Ever since then, I just kept it up, and it's been wonderful. Even my father, did it. So we're a family of 5, 2 younger sisters.
My name is Hanaka Yamada. I'm Yondan, the 4th dan, and I'm a part of the Vancouver Kendo Club. And this is my 3rd time.
日本の木和田です。私は今7段で大阪府警の剣道に所属しております。カナダの女子選手で私が一番印象に残ったのは山田花香さん。前々から私も知ってはおるんですけども、久しぶりに試合を見て韓国人選手を倒して上に勝ち上がっていく姿を見て、すごくこのイタリア大会からこの3年間で成長されたんだなと思いまして、今後に楽しみな選手だと思います。
This is my 3rd time. 2009 was when I first represented. That was in Brazil, and the 2nd time, 2012, was in Italy, and here we are right now in Japan, and this is my 3rd time. This is 2 days away from when I actually play with all my teammates. I think I'm more excited to kind of be out there with everybody. We've done the most we can, and I know we can go out there and give it all we got. So I'm very excited.
obviously there's a number of stories here, a number of narratives. Being in Japan at the Budokan is very big. So from a global perspective, everybody wants to compete in the Budokan, which is a shrine, so to speak, for Kendo. Back to Japan, yeah.
It's the first time that they're gonna, I think, in a long time, since maybe the 70s, they're having it at the Tokyo Budokan, which is like this big stadium, but it was made for Kendo and for martial arts. So all the big tournaments in Kendo that you grow up watching or you know about are there. It's going to be incredible because even when I was in Japan, like, for example, like we'd go to all the tournaments there. It's this huge stadium that's only specifically used for Kendo, right? So and maybe in some judo and stuff like that.
Yes, back to Tokyo Budokan. I mean, I've been there once just to see an exhibition of martial arts, and it's amazing.
Definitely, we all know that Canadian Kendo is one of the top class in the world.
My hopes for this team is to be able to execute everyone's skill.
I believe we can be confident in our level of Kendo.
We are really representing the legacy of Kendo in Canada.
This time the Team Canada first round is meet Japan. That's very tough.
Our first match, our first team match in the pool in which only one team comes out instead of two as it has been for many years is Japan.
What the draw has been for us for this one is Japan first round, and so I'm sure in everybody's mind it's like, well, no luck.
Obviously being drawn against Japan in the pools is it's obviously a tough draw to put it lightly, but it's a great opportunity as well to do kendo with literally some of the best players in the world. I think each of the players have to just take everything they can to every one of the Japanese players and do whatever they can do to come out on top.
Don't do receive point. Don't do receive. No. Only if you want this, no, straight away. Kote man, kote.
It doesn't really matter who the opponent is, whether it's Japan or a different country. I'm sure the hard work that they've put in will pay off. At the end of the day, I'm sure they've put a lot of work into their training over the last 3 years to bring themselves to this moment, and I don't think there's a better chance for them to sort of, let that come out naturally through sort of giving everything to each individual shiai.
We met the Japan a long time ago, and we are same human, right? And we practice a lot. Of course, they do more, but shiai comes to the shiai. Who knows, right? We have even 1% winning chance. We have to use it and beat them.
I don't think we can match their speed or their strengths, but I believe they have weaknesses too, which we have relayed to our players. And that weakness is basically being they're in front of all their senses, they're in front of their home country, they've been the top dog for every tournament that's been out there. And so there's a whole ton of pressure on them.
We have nothing to lose, right? All the pressure is on Japan.
We have a very important match against Japan, first round. I know we're underdog, and we know that, so definitely I believe there's more pressure in Japan.
I think it's going to be interesting. And because it's our first match, everyone is really thinking about that.
That will be interesting, particularly as a first match. I've always thought that Team Canada are one of the strongest competitors in the World Kendo Championships. And certainly in the case of the championships in Taipei, where Team USA managed to beat Japan, it would be really interesting if Team Canada could do the same thing in the opening match.
It's going to be interesting, and I think everyone on the team understands that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to see that match as well, and I'm sure lots of people around the world are also.
Well, interestingly enough, when you train or you're trying to train the guys, you're always saying, do your best, do your best, do your best. And they say, yes, 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 we understand, right? But then we found out the draw. Well, that actually gives you a concrete goal and makes things very real and helps give focus to the training.
I see the players that we have that they're experienced enough that we give them a game plan, in which we have, and so we've set up a game plan, and we just hope that it's a very tough game plan. It's a very demanding game plan.
Do you have any specific questions that you're going to ask us? Ray Sensei doesn't have a question.
Sorry.
Are we ready? I feel ready. I feel good. We're arriving there enough ahead of time. I think that's going to allow us to get acclimatized to the environment, get used to the time change, get used to the heat and the humidity, get a couple practices in. Our bodies are not broken too badly, so it's okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, yeah.
Me personally as a competitor, when I see that Team Canada have Japan in the draw, I wouldn't just write that off straight away and say, oh, this is impossible. I think anything's possible, and I think that, but as a team unit, I think they work really well, and they have a really good shiai through that way. So I think that there's no reason, if the team works hard, and you never know what happens on the day, there's no reason why teams like Canada can't get a result.
The end goal is to kind of show the world what Canadian Kendo is all about. So to be able to show everybody this is what we practice, this is how we practice, and to be able to show that to the world, I think it's a really great opportunity.
The Budokan, it's not a place where everybody can do a tournament at, participate. It's only the major events. So I feel very honored to be able to fight in that place, and especially against Japan. I'm very excited and to have the opportunity to make history.
I can't wait to be, the fact that it's actually a little bit overwhelming that we have the possibility of actually doing that. And it's like super exciting. Like I can't wait. It's gonna be a great experience no matter what.
Team Canadian boys should keep the offensive and aggressive attack. And next one is continuous of attack is important. They don't stop only once attack, finish. Once attack, finish. 1 second, third. Continuous is very important.
Yeah, every player had that kind of spirit. We can do it. Yeah, don't hesitate to. Oh, they are Japanese. They are strong. No, that's the wrong way to. Yeah, try to beat. Don't lose it. Beat it. You're gonna win. Yeah, that kind of.
Team is the most important thing. There's no individual. I mean, there's that common phrase, there's no I in team. But how a person fits within the framework of the team can very well depend on how that team functions.
The team is always first. The needs of the team as a whole is always first.
One of the things that always impressed me about Team Canada, even over all of the years that I've seen them at different championships, is how they work together as a unit.
So, not only dojo, outside of dojo, they have to have a good relationship with teamwork.
It's really nice to have those close people with you when you are on that stage. I feel like I'm not alone. My team's behind me and helping me along the way.
Yeah, they've got your back. Everybody's got each other's backs, right?
I think I'm more excited to kind of be out there with everybody.
Today, during these 3 days of the 16 World Kendo Championship, le kendo canadien a encore une fois montré sa puissance, sa cohésion et en même temps son identité particulière. Nous avons un team d'hommes et de femmes, nous avons des coachs, nous avons un manager qui ont une personnalité canadienne qu'on ne peut pas confondre avec une autre équipe. Qu'est-ce que ça signifie? Simplement que nous avons la chance d'avoir des personnalités extrêmement sportives, mais en même temps qui donnent au kendo une dimension spirituelle, en voulant suivre absolument les grandes règles du kendo japonais. Ce sont nos maîtres qui sont venus il y a un siècle déjà en Colombie-Britannique et qui ont essaimé jusqu'au maritime. Et c'est ce qui fait que le kendo canadien est extrêmement important pour l'équilibre du kendo dans le monde entier.
My name is Tuan An Huang from McGill University Kendo Club. Been practicing for 14 years, so I was 15. It's only when I see the Canadian flag, it's only then I noticed, well, I'm playing for Canada. And for me, playing for Canada and for your country, that means a lot.
I feel very grateful for the opportunity to represent Canada. I feel like all the people who wanted to be here, I want to do my best for them so that there's, the managers and the coaches who selected me, they don't have any regrets. I don't want to have any regrets, and I want to just do my absolute best that I can.
My name is Elliot Altilia. I'm 5th Dan, and I practice in the McGill University Kendo Club.
Going into Kyoto, 1997 was the first time that they introduced women. And it added an entirely different dynamic to the Gashuku. 1994 was just men. You know, instead of the men being a bunch of goofballs, they felt a certain responsibility and protectiveness towards the women, I guess. So it really changed the Gashuku. It really changed the dynamic of the entire team. Fast forwarding to Tokyo in for the 16th World Championship, the success of the women really helped propel the men. It really did. Hanaka had received a Fighting Spirit Award, and Bree Yang had received an award for recognizing her outstanding contribution during the team matches. We all felt a great deal of pride for their accomplishments.
I think when I see like Mantan trying really hard during practice, or Bree or Bora or Ayaka, I feel like I have to bring my game up too. And I think that's very important, that we all have the same energy and the same flow to our practices.
at the same time, you're kind of like a rival.
Yeah.
We just compete each other every day because since we practice the same dojo, we practice every day, like all the same time. I think it's kind of a good opportunity, and then we are lucky that we have each other, that the dojo practicing together. Like we just like push a little bit more for each other, and then that's, I think that's really great.
Important.
And then, yeah.
That's really important.
That's how we
push yourself more.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 The team is always first. The needs of the team as a whole is always first. I think this time I really wanted the women to have one heart, one goal as we go towards Japan. So it doesn't matter how we individually get there, but as long as we're all looking at one goal in the end, which is to place first place, and we all work our hardest and towards that goal together, then that is what is important, if we keep that in sight.
I went to Italy last year as a Team Canada prospect. I guess I wasn't strong enough for skill-wise, and I was still young, so they put me as a prospect, and they gave me a great experience to actually let me go to Italy and see the World Championship and see them play. So that gave me another inspiration, and that made me want to go on Team Canada even more for the next one, for the one in Japan. It really got me inspired for the next one.
A pivotal part of my kendo career was my match at Sao Paulo for the 14th World Kendo Championships. I was a rookie, and my very first match was against the captain of Team Korea. And Team Korea is one of the top countries in kendo, in the kendo world, who consistently place at the top 2 countries. I was really grateful that my teammates at that time, and Dinara Sensei, he believed that I could beat Team Korea. And prior to that, he gave me many tips on how to fight against Team Korea. Because I had her name prior to my match, I was able to look up video footage of her because she's a relatively famous kendo player. And I used to have my laptop every day, and I would watch her matches right before I went to sleep. In the morning, I would wake up and I would go out into this uphill driveway, and I would practice my footwork and practice just imaginary match against her. I think it was probably a month before the Worlds we knew who we were playing, so I would do that every day, practicing my footwork, practicing my sime, practicing every possible movement that she would do because I watched her habits. At the start of that match, I remember watching her and thinking, I have to take control from the very beginning. So as soon as it's hajime, which is start, I play that moment probably about every day for a month. I play that moment several times throughout the day, and nothing was new to me. I already did it in my head, so I was able to do it the day of. And I remember doing kote men or ski men, and every move that I did was something that I practiced before. And the last moment, I did kote men gyakudo, and it landed. And the first thing I saw was my teammates standing up and cheering for me. And then I looked around, and everybody in the stadium was also standing up and cheering. And it was a very surreal moment for me because I never thought I would even make it onto that team that time. I was at the bottom of Team Canada, and I never thought that I would be able to make it onto Team Canada, let alone beat Team Korea. And I feel like I was a better kendo player and a better person because of that. And also my teammates who pushed me really hard. Even though they're competitive with me, they wanted the best for me.
Everybody tries hard, but I don't think that people will be as interested in your story unless there is a success. If we lose in the beginning all this hard work, nobody will want to know our story. When I used to try really hard to try to make it on the team, I used to practice really hard, but I'd lose all the time. But nobody knows. But if you work hard to get to this point, like this point now, people want to know because there's some success. There's a chance to tell a story and to inspire others the way previous Team Canada members have inspired me and changed me as a person within Kendo and outside of Kendo, my career, and as a person as a whole as well. I want to be able to be that for someone.
"これはね、そのチームワークを作るのはね、監督の仕事なんです。監督がやっぱりこういういい監督がいるとチームはまとまる。監督が公平性を持ってない、公平じゃないとチームはまとまっていかない。だから、いい監督をまずその連盟がね、カナダ剣道連盟が監督を選ばなくちゃいけない。で今回は大変女子のチームは良かったと思います。男子は私はまだ多くは見てませんけど。
ありがとうございます。
というふうに
ありがとうございます。本人のお言葉をいただきまして。
His kendo is very, very strong. A lot of the time he tells us to do something a certain way and none of us can do it. So he's actually, he's like, well, why can't you do it? So we get a lot of that, but we work really hard at it, and he said, yeah, that's okay, right? So I think that if we work really, really hard, we can manage to get to a higher level. He wants to drive us hard, so we practice a lot. I mean, that's why we get to meet all these people, and that's one of the great things about Kendo.